Tone Deaf is the journey of a musical theater nerd, bringing musicals into the life of their musically challenged spouse. The reactions to the musicals are real and mostly unedited. This show is for ages 14 and up, because sometimes you just need to use a swear. Now sit back, relax, and have a laugh. You're listening to Tone Deaf.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd.
And I'm Warren. I'm musically challenged.
So today on Tone Deaf, we're going old school.
How old school?
Like, this show premiered in 1879 old school.
So old school.
Old school.
So great-great-great-great-grandfather old school.
Yeah, we're going pretty old with this one. This show isn't technically a musical. It's actually an opera.
Do tell.
So, musicals were kind of a new thing at this time. We had, The Black Crook and Not What You Think. Yes, it's Civil War, but not that racist. I don't think, actually. That's one of those shows that I've heard of, but then I've never actually seen it.
So you don't know.
So I don't know.
You don't know just how racist it is.
Please somebody prove to me that it's not, because I really don't want to have us eventually watch a super racist show. So we have that, we have The Black Domino at the time, and those were kind of your first musical comedies, in quotes, because it was still kind of a new genre. It was a little experimental. And then we have Gilbert and Sullivan coming in, and they do their operettas that are comedic, and they start doing things that opera didn't really do. So
just like singing and, not singing, but dancing and stuff like that?
Yeah, because most operas would focus on just the singing, and if you had any dancing or acting, it would be done by somebody else. And, like, you'd have ballet dancers coming in to dance for the opera instead of it being done by the singers. And so with musical theater, you're getting people who can sing and act, or sing and dance, or sing, act, and dance.
Triple threat.
Triple threats, yeah. Which you wouldn't... Like, that's not part of the course for every musical. There are some shows that do have, like, a dancing chorus and then a singing chorus and stuff, but generally everyone is meant to act in the show.
Gotcha.
And so that's what you're going to get with these Gilbert and Sullivan musicals is, well, Gilbert and Sullivan operas, is that they do trend more towards being a musical, even though they're an opera.
So would they be operacles or moperas?
You know, I think we should probably...
Mopera it is.
So...
Executive decision.
So when we do our next... or future Weber week, we'll do Phantom of the Mopera.
That's awesome. So does that mean they have the long, like... Oh!
We'll get into the way that things are done in this show, because
Okay.
it's pretty interesting.
Okay.
There are some hallmarks. So this is going to be your first Gilbert and Sullivan show. It is called The Pirates of Penzance, or The Slave of Duty.
The Slave of Duty.
Yes, that'll make sense once we get into this.
Sounds like a shit job.
God.
Get it? Duty?
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
So, what all do you know about Pirates of Penzance?
I am the very model of a major general. That's it. That's literally all I know.
So, this will be another one of those shows where you're going to go, oh, I know that song. And I know that song.
I get that reference. God, okay.
Yeah, you're going to be Captain Americaning all this. All over this. That didn't...
I understood that reference.
So, and, like, I mean, this show has definitely got a lot of songs that have been parodied, especially the Modern Major General song, which also was parodied by Animaniacs, I believe, Tom Lehrer, Mass Effect of all places.
Yeah, I remember you laughed when I told you about that.
Yeah, so this show is one of the most performed of Gilbert and Sullivan's shows. And like I said, this is an opera, not a musical, but close enough. It was their 5th collaboration between Arthur Sullivan and W.S. Gilbert. It premiered in New York in 1879, and there's a fun story with this. We're not going to get into it completely because a lot of it ties into another Gilbert and Sullivan show called HMS Pinafore, which was their 4th show. And while they were British, this show is their only one to have its official premiere in the U.S.
I love how you said that, while they were British. Like, it almost it made it almost sound like, well, they were British at one point, then they transitioned into something. While they were British, they did this.
No.
I got you, though. I was just being
because so most of the time their shows were premiering in England first, and they did have a British copyright show before they did their official premiere in New York, and that was because of what happened with the copyright law with HMS Pinafore. So that show was insanely popular. Like, everyone loved that show. Loved HMS Pinafore.
Was it also an opera?
Yes.
Okay.
All of their shows are operas.
Okay.
But the way that they're done puts them almost into musical theater. And let's just say that American copyright law at the time did not respect foreign copyright laws.
No, it doesn't.
So, like, even more so, though. To the point where HMS Pinafore's official opening in the U.S. didn't do well because it had already been performed multiple times by other groups illegally. Because they're like, oh, well, your laws don't apply here.
Snap. So they basically just ripped off the show and performed it here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they loved the show. They loved HMS Pinafore, but they didn't want to pay for it.
So is
HMS Pinafore?
Is that... Please tell me that's also about pirates.
No.
Man, because I had a great joke about how they pirated the musical and performed it illegally.
We're going to get to that a little bit, too, because there was a little bit of that with this one, too.
Uh-huh. I'm so prophetic.
So, they were basically going, okay, we've got to do something to make sure that this show doesn't go through the same thing. So they premiered it in New York at the Fifth Avenue Theater on Broadway. And it worked for the first production of this show and for the touring company. And then it didn't work.
So, like it was received well initially and then received well?
It was received so well that once again, Americans went, well, we're going to mount our own productions and screw your copyright. We're not going to pay you jack. So, yeah, it worked-ish. And the way that this show was written, so Sullivan was writing the music in reverse. Like, he wrote...
What?
So he, not like reverse, like writing satanically or anything.
Like, did he write the songs from, like, end to beginning?
Yes, he wrote Act 2 first, and then sketched out, so basically did like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do here for this part, and then this part, the first act before going to New York to work on Pinafore. And like I said, once we do the Pinafore episode, we'll talk about how much they got screwed. But he got to New York and went, crap, I left the sketches back in England.
So he had the entire journey across the Atlantic before he realized, wow.
And so He had to do all of Act 1 of Pirates of Penzance from memory to compose it.
Wow. Dude, this is where dummy checks pay off.
And even more, the overture, as is customary for these two, was written to the last minute.
Seriously?
And what they did, Sullivan sort of sketched it out, went, okay, this is kind of what I want it to sound like, and then handed it over to their musical director, Alfred Sellier, to finish it.
Oh, man.
This show's in 2 acts, and it has pretty much all of the hallmarks that would make you hear something and go, oh, this is Gilbert and Sullivan. They parodied Verdi heavily in this opera.
Verdi?
Verdi is a operettist composer.
Oh, okay. So famous musical person.
Yeah, famous musical person. And they parody him a lot, as well as Schubert at one point. And then they also have a patter song, and that would be the modern Major General song. And seeing your face lets me know that you don't know what a patter song is.
No.
I will teach you. So a patter song is a song that's moderately fast, a fast tempo, and it has sort of a 1-to-1 ratio of syllables to notes.
So it's just, okay.
I am the very model of a modern Major General. That's
the way you did that with your fingers, that makes sense.
Yes. I was going kind of note with syllable. And they're often tongue-twisty, and they're comedic. They're basically like, the comedic character will be doing this song.
We'll be singing the
patter song.
Patter song.
They also have a lot of good moments of counterpoint, which is where, like, a chorus will be singing one thing at one melody and tempo, and another actors will sing it at a disparate melody and tempo. There's a lot of things that we've seen that use counterpoint. Les Miserables, with their One Day More song, uses counterpoint. The Tower of Babel at the beginning of Godspell has counterpoint, kind of, when everyone's sort of singing over each other. In this, though, theirs is more of your basic form of counterpoint, where one group's singing one thing, one singing the other.
I have a stupid question.
Yes.
Is row, row, row your boat counterpoint?
That is a round.
Oh. Okay.
Little different.
Okay.
But good. But, yeah. Still good. It's good instincts.
You can just be like, good question. Like, just tap into your teacher. Good question.
Oh, man.
Good question, Warren. You get a gold star.
Yay! Think. I put a gold star in his nose. Yay! So teacher likes me. So this show has been revived so many times.
I'd imagine if it was done in the 1800s.
In New York alone, there have been 40 revivals since 1880. Yeah.
I was not expecting that many.
Yes, and one of the most notable ones was when Joseph Papp produced the revival that pretty much everyone imitates and, tries to do. Yes.
Do you really want me to make the joke?
Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe off mic.
Okay.
So, this version that the version that we're watching is the film version of the 1980 production that Papp did, that is also going to be starring Kevin Kline as the Pirate King.
Okay. Yes. Gotcha.
Yes. Which show? Which movie?
Waterworld?
No.
Oh.
It's got John Cleese in it, too.
Fish Called Wanda?
Yes. That was a terrible charades that I did. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Me being able to put actors' names to faces is about as good as me being able to put songs to bands.
So, this version that we're watching leans heavily into being a musical comedy rather than a comedic opera.
A musical comedy versus a comedic opera.
Yeah.
Those sound like synonyms to me.
So a comedic opera, once again, would just be focusing on the singing rather than the acting and the dancing.
So it'd be funny songs versus...
Like, you'd still have your characters and stuff, but they kind of... And with pirates in general, Pirates of Penzance, and the other shows of Gilbert and Sullivan, they do emphasize acting, but this takes it to the point where it's no longer just opera. It is now a musical. Like, it's fully fledged. Pardon, we're doing, there's more swashbuckling pirates with it, and it's more, they lean into those roles a little bit more than in a standard opera.
Okay.
Someday we'll go see an opera, and then you can kind of see the difference between the two.
I was going to say, someday we'll go see an opera, and I'll still have no idea what's going on.
I don't know, when I saw Faust live, I was like, oh, that's the difference.
Fair.
But
I love how you have faith in me that one day I'll be cultured.
You're fine. It's okay. It's fine. This is fun. This is exciting. I get to show you a new thing.
Yeah.
So revivals after this revival haven't been as widely enjoyed.
You're talking after the 1980s.
After the 1980, because they have revived it again since. And thanks to the friggin' Pirates franchise.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney.
Yeah, they try to kind of add in some of those types of piratey elements rather than
sticking with what was working before.
Yeah, because
that sounds like they're just kind of trying to capitalize on pop culture to make it more
it is.
culturally relevant.
Grumpy.
Not culturally relevant, but pop culture. Yeah, okay, culturally relevant.
It makes me grumpy because I like the Pirates of Penzance a little bit better than the whole let's make them all Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
But
no, that's fair.
That can be another rant for another day. I also do have a fun story with this. So my mom and I had seen this show, I want to say I was like 8 when we saw it live. And I really enjoyed it, but didn't think too much of Pirates of Penzance until one day when we went to a friend's confirmation, a Catholic confirmation. And with the Catholic confirmations, you have the cardinals show up and all of this. And this one had the Knights of Columbus show up. And I'm going to show you a picture. And then I'm sure you can tell the joke that my mom said.
They're really called the Knights of Columbus?
Yes. And they look
like pirates.
Yeah.
They look like flamboyant pirates. I mean, not to use this term like offensively, but they look like gay pirates.
So that is pretty much like what the hats and everything of a lot of these like generals and stuff you're gonna see in.
I know they have the feather, but were they colored like that?
Yeah, they're pretty bright and colorful.
Well, then again, of course, it's
musical theater.
Well, plus we're also talking about the period where men were peacocking and dressing in bright colors and stuff,
which men should go back to doing.
I don't. You know me. I don't wear dark. I don't wear bright colors. It's all dark, like my soul.
But like, you wouldn't judge a man for wearing pink, whereas.
How do you know I haven't? I'm just kidding. It's fine. I'm just being a snarky jerk.
But like, stupid Beau Brummel. Anyway. My mom called the Knights of Columbus the Pirates of Penzance. While they're processing down, leans over and tells me that, and I'm just holding it in.
You're trying not to laugh in church because that's very much frowned upon.
Yes. So that's a little bit of a backstory to Kay and Mama Kay.
Man, so I gotta ask though, after your mom did that, have you ever leaned over to her and said something funny to try and make her laugh in church?
No. We
should. It's time for some revenge.
Maybe we should do that game from that one comedian. That would Yeah, but that would require my mom going to church as well, so...
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
The only times I've been in church lately is to play drums, so I won't be able to lean over to...
The only times I've been in church lately have been to watch you play drums.
Yeah, so that would... we wouldn't be able to really fulfill that. We need to find another moment to make my mom laugh.
There we go.
In church.
There we go.
All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go and watch Pirates of Penzance. We'll take a brief intermission, and then we'll see what you think about it.
She has
Hopefully.
Just so you know, Kay has this wicked, devilish grin on her face as she turned to me and said, "We'll see what you think about it."
Oh, I'm excited, but also a little nervous.
A little nervous.
Because there's some misogyny.
Well.
And we just got done with another misogynistic character.
I'm sure I'll have some things to say, but I won't let it ruin it for me. Because I did like My Fair Lady. I did like it.
Yeah. And I mean, your reaction to this will kind of gauge how we'll need to introduce you to future Gilbert and Sullivan shows. Yeah. Let's go to the lobby. Let's go to the lobby. Let's go to the lobby. It's intermission time. Intermission time. All right, we'll be back. All right, Warren. It's time for the best part of every intermission.
Getting snacks that we can't bring back into the theater?
Even better. Now that the lights are back up, we can look into the playbill.
This week we have some exciting news with our Patreon sponsors. Our alpha sponsor, Jasmine Wu, is now joined by Bianucci. We have 2 sponsors, Kay.
Sweet.
This is super exciting. I can't believe that we have 2 sponsors already on our show, and thank you guys so much for contributing to our show. We greatly, greatly, truly, truly appreciate it, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you truly from the bottom of our hearts.
Seriously, guys, thank you so much. And here's a message from one of our favorite podcasts called History on Blast.
Hello, and welcome to History on Blast. I'm Hillary, and I'll be your host as we call out history. Every other week, we'll be putting a different person, place, time, or event on blast for the shit that they pulled. This ain't your grandpa's history podcast, so if this sounds like your cup of harbor tea, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast catcher.
And now, the lights are going down and the music is starting back up, so let's hop into the second act of the show. Alright, so what'd you think?
It's time for my review. The show has imagination, which may be its salvation. Come, friends, enjoy our show. I've got lots of jokes, please don't have a stroke, 'cause here comes my review. So, The Pirates of Penzance was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I very much can see what you were talking about with it being an opera musical hybrid, stronger than both, weaknesses of none kind of thing. You know, a new breed, whatever. But it, this show was freaking daffy. Like, I honestly feel like either Looney Tunes got inspiration from this, or this got inspiration from Looney Tunes.
Considering when the two were... Because I think Looney Tunes... Well... Because...
Yeah, like there was some
Like, so the version we watched, the 1980 version,
Mm-hmm.
was it performed more or less the same way originally? Like, with the same kind of songs, or has it been changed a whole lot significantly?
The songs are pretty much the same.
Because, wow, that would have been...
Choreography would be different, but...
But this, like, I don't know how the performers performed some of those songs. Like, they're tongue twisters, especially when they're going incredibly fast. But anyway, it was entertaining. It was cute. It was silly. It had a lot of funny moments. So I mean, it gets a thumbs up from me.
Awesome.
It gets a thumbs up from me. And we're gonna launch into my horrible haphazard review of the show, because it opens up with a thrilling view of closed curtains, with what sounds like a musical mixture of Looney Tunes and Monty Python, because that opening music very much seemed like the love child of both.
Mm-hmm.
And as it zooms in on the curtains open up, and just kind of reveals the scenery to us, and shows the bay, and the pirates of Penzance pops up. And then we go into this quiet little coastal town, or city, port, whatever it was. And the first thing I notice, of course, is that there's dogs in, like, this half circle. And I don't understand why these dogs are evenly spaced in this half circle. And also, can I please pet them all? Oh, the dogs were waiting for their owners to get out of church. Okay, if your animal is that well behaved, I think they can stay in the building. Remember, God backwards is dog.
Yes.
So there, that's it. That's enough said. God approves of dogs. And then everybody freaks out, because, oh no, pirates! Close all the doors and put up close signs in your shops, because pirates are known for their respect of laws and boundaries. And it was exciting. Then we cut to being on the pirate ship, and we get to meet Frederick, who has been... It said he was indentured, but it doesn't sound like he was a slave.
No.
But he was basically apprenticed. Like, he was apprenticed, but he was, I don't know what the word, indentures?
Yeah, so he was apprenticed for basically from 8 to 21. He was theirs.
Yeah.
He was their little cabin boy.
Yeah.
Make you do whatever that they want you to do.
Yes, and...
You can't say no.
And on his 21st birthday, you're free, Frederick! Here's your sword, now you can be a pirate. He's like, but I don't want to be a pirate. I want to be a pilot. And then we get in the song with Ruth, who was his nanny, I guess?
Yeah, his nursemaid, which makes things a little awkward later in the musical.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, what do nursemaids do to 8-year-olds? I was like...
I have my own...
They're just nannies, right? They take care of the
they're
kid.
nannies. She would have known him as a literal baby.
And then we find out that because of her poor hearing, she misunderstood when his father said pilot, and she heard pirate, and goes and gets him indentured to a pirate for over a decade. And I love Frederick has the great line where he's talking about, individually, I love you all, but collectively, I hate you very much. And I just love this. I love you guys, but I hate you so much, I'm gonna kill you all.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna leave the ship, and then I'm gonna make it my personal mission to destroy you. It was just kind of like, you realize you're still on the ship, and they could kill you if they wanted to. But I thought that was funny. And then he's telling them about how they're too soft,
Yes.
Like they don't do these normal pirate things, and they're like, you want us to be, what was it,
Want us to be ruthless?
yeah, I want us to be ruthless. And he's like, before noon, yes, afternoon, no,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And he's like, I want you to be hard pirates until I leave, then I want you to be soft. Frederick leaves Ruth behind and rows away in his dinghy, while the Pirate King sings about how great it is to be a Pirate King. And then Ruth, is she a witch? Because she wasn't on the boat, and now she's on the boat.
She
freaking teleported.
She was played by Angela Lansbury, so...
Yeah.
The bed knobs and broomstick stuff paid off for her.
I mean, seriously, because he's in the boat, rowing away, and then it shows them going up onto the beach, and she's there.
Yeah.
How did that happen? And then
Frederick with his, like, he's only ever known this woman, and I don't know, I think I might have missed why she thinks he should marry her. Like, it's just...
Big shrug.
Okay.
Big shrug,
cool.
buddy.
I'm glad it's a big shrug, and it's not just me missing something.
That's one of those things that, even as a kid, I was like,
Right?
Excuse me.
How creepy would it be from her? Like, oh, I've known you since you were a little boy, but now I want to be your wife. It'd
yeah.
Be like,
that's one of those things where it's like, Gilbert, Sullivan, you alright, buds?
yeah, did you,
What's up?
Did you have a thing for your nursemaid?
What's up with that? Why?
I think there's probably some creepy skeletons in one of their closets. But and then I love Frederick asking her, basically saying, hey, Ruth, are you a banging hottie? Because I'm young, dumb, and full of feelings.
You know.
Feelings. Frederick gets upset because he sees some young maidens who make his spyglass, grow with excitement. He then proceeds to sing about Ruth lying to him. Scroll down. Frederick is creepily staring at the singing girls. He gets a look at their ankles and almost had to change his pants from the 1800s excitement, am I right? Like, back when ankles were the most exciting thing to see. Frederick couldn't handle the hot ankle action anymore and had to make himself known to the ladies, who they proceed to freak out because, understandably, they were like, I don't know if they were going to be bathing in the water or what, but they seemed like they were starting to undress a bit.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, I'm here, I don't want to be a peeping Tom, even though I'm kind of a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Which, hey, good for him. Good for him. He doesn't want to be any more of a creeper than he already is being. But, I gotta cut the guy a break. He's incredibly sheltered. He's been living on a ship for a long time. He doesn't have those social skills with the ladies. Yeah, I'm speaking as if I'm some suave individual. And then he begs/sings one of the ladies to go with him. He'll even take the ugly one.
Yeah, like
that was probably one of my favorite sections, not because I thought the song was particularly good, but because of the audacity of that individual to be like, I want to marry one of you, I don't care which one, any one of you will do, and preferably someone who has given up hope that any man will find them attractive. I was just like, dude, He
just needed a fedora to complete... a fedora and a neckbeard.
Oh, man. Seriously.
Oh my gosh, that's his pirate name. Neckbeard.
Neckbeard. There you go. Except he was clean shaven.
Yeah, but... It's
yeah, I know. His neckbeard is on the inside. He has a neckbeard on his soul. His entire personality is a neckbeard. I'll take any of you. I'm not picky. Then the ladies tell him to F off, which I thought that part was great, and none of them are desperate enough to go with him. All except for Little Bo Peep, Mabel. She looked like Little Bo Peep. Like, she's stereotypical Little Bo Peep. Like, yeah. And Fred keeps trying to mac on Mabel, but keeps getting opera blocked.
Yes.
Which I thought... I don't know what was going on in the scene where she's, like, singing and there's, like, a flute in the background. We never find out who was playing the flute. It was just random... I mean,
it's a musical comedy making fun of different tropes of operas and musicals of the time. Well, operas of the time.
I was expecting there to be some, like, suave... other guy to come out and be like, no, Mabel, I'm here to win your affections. And then Frederick was going to have to peacock and strut and be like, no, I'm the better choice. But instead there was just a ghost flute that was harmonizing with Mabel.
Maybe it was kind of like the whole Disney princess thing of, like, little birds singing, and Mabel is secretly a Disney princess. She's one talking animal companion away.
She's too plain to be a Disney princess. Don't you remember the song?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there you go. But then after Frederick getting opera blocked, we cut to a bunch of pirates in their dinghy. And then the pirates emerge from their dinghy and begin their hunt for booty loot. And then we cut to the pirate version of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. as they attempt to steal the women
Oh my god!
and literally pass them around.
Oh my god! It is the pirate Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah, except it's 7 brides for all the men.
Oh my god!
There's more than 7 men. And the Pirate King, I see him kiss like 3 of the girls, so he's just like,
he's the Pirate King.
He's like,
He
I'm
can
going
get
to
whatever
sample
he
the
wants.
merchandise.
Yeah.
But, and just before the looting of booty could be concluded, the modern Major General shows up and sings about how smart he is, and I'm sure there is a mathematical equation to precisely quantify his particular flavor of daffiness. It's high. It's up there. That was probably my absolute favorite scene because of that. I am the very model of a Major General. It's like that, of a modern Major General. Like, that whole song was great. I can't even do it slow without getting my tongue tied.
Mm-hmm.
So, hats off, bravo, round of applause to everybody in that. I cannot even fathom how much practice it must have taken to do that without tripping over your own tongue.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like, absolutely. Especially when he asks him, can you do it faster?
Yeah.
And he's just like... But it sounds like he's actually saying words and not just being a goofy person. But, and then when the pirates are saying, we want to take your daughters and we're going to marry them. And he's like, oh, I don't want pirates for son-in-laws. Well, we don't want... We don't want a major general for father-in-law. And then he pulls the orphan card and says, I'm an orphan. He's like, do you have any idea what it's like to be an orphan? Orphan. And then they do their whole orphan thing. It was like the Pirates of Penzance version of Who's on First. It really was. It was like... But that part was kind of funny. And, kind of cut away from that, and then the pirates leave, and Frederick goes with his wife-to-be Mabel and her sisters and the father back to his castle.
Yeah.
Because he has a castle. Because why wouldn't he have a castle? But, and then we have the midnight sobs of a modern Major General draw the sympathy flock of females. Apparently, the modern Major General is softer than an overripe tomato and sobs like a little baby in his family crypt over pretending to be an orphan in order to save his family from forced marriage. So I thought that was a bit of a mouthful of a note for me. Like him sobbing, he's like, I lied to a bunch of pirates about being an orphan in order to keep my daughters from being taken away. It's like... Dude, chill. Jesus will forgive you. Calm down. Like,
Jesus will forgive this one.
I'm like, oh, you lied to criminals to prevent your daughters from being forcibly abducted. I think you're gonna get a pass on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But, why were the goofy boys in blue singing about tarantulas? Those were the most useless... Wow. The lines on your recording look like an earthquake on a, one of those things, geological thingies that go back and forth and go, hey, there's an earthquake.
Jesus Christ.
I can't remember what those are called.
Seismograph.
A seismograph. Thank you, Kay. But, yeah, why are the,
Tara, 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 tara.
why are the police in this obsessed with tarantulas, and why are they so freaking weird?
They're not saying tarantula, but
They were
that's
saying,
okay.
They were saying tarantula. Tarantula, tarantula.
So they're supposed to just be really cowardly? And, like, they don't want to deal with the pirates? I mean, remember when the pirates first showed up,
that's
they all
true.
ran into the constabulatory.
That's true, they
and
pissed
hid.
themselves and ran away.
Yeah, so...
But they show up and sing about tarantulas, even though Kay says it's not tarantulas. And then after the daughters and everybody usher the general back into his castle, the Pirate King and Ruth sneak onto the property and to see their sweet baby Frederick, and to give him the paradox about being a 5-year-old, 22-year-old. Good old leap year babies.
Mm-hmm.
And then they invoke his sense of duty, and they say, you're not really 21. You're still 5. We own you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I pity the kind of person whose honor does not allow them to detect bullshit. Because that, like, absolutely, can you imagine, like, especially, like, later in it when he's like, Mabel, wait for me, like, I'll come back to you when I'm truly 21. It's like, no, dude, you're gonna be, like, 100.
Well, and it makes so much in this show, just like, well, he shouldn't have been indentured to you anyway if he's 5.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
seriously.
You shouldn't have him.
He would have been, like, 1.2 years old when he came to them in the first place. You can't take an infant on to be an
Unless
apprentice.
it's Peter Pan.
Yeah, we're not... yeah. We've done that weird-ass musical. We are shelving that. No more magical flying infants. At least in this show. But what's the matter with this unintelligible patter? Like, I thought that part was actually funny where they were...
Yeah.
That, like, I couldn't even recall that song right now.
Well, and so, I'm trying to remember, because some of the songs from this version were actually borrowed from other Gilbert and Sullivan shows, and I think that's one of them. And then there's the reference to HMS Pinafore later in the show, but I think that song is actually from another one of Gilbert and Sullivan's shows.
Oh, okay.
Which,
I guess
yeah, for the purposes of this show, I'll let him do whatever.
Sure, why not? But after they invoke Frederick's sense of duty, since he's a duty boy,
God,
he divulges to them that the modern Major General lied about being an orphan, a person who has lost their parents, but not frequently, as it can only happen once. Anyway, the Pirate King is disappointed! You'll get that reference if you've seen A Fish Called Wanda. And decides to gather his merry band of misfits and strike at Tremalking Castle for swift revenge. I can't remember what the name of the castle actually was, so I did my best. Tremalking is actually an island in the Wheel of Time series, because I'm a nerd. Do you remember the name of the castle? Then it's Tremalking. If nobody can say what the name of the castle actually is, it's Tremalking. So,
I'm gonna die.
No, please don't. Because you do most of the work on this podcast. So, after the pirates leave to go regroup for their swift revenge, Frederick goes and talks to Mabel, and he says, and makes her, doesn't make her, but asks her if she'll wait for him.
Yeah.
Which...
No.
So you know how much I hate the stupidity of Romeo and Juliet, just the idea of two people meeting, knowing each other for like a week, and then killing themselves because of how much they're in love.
Yeah.
This is dumber. Because they've known each other like a day.
Yeah.
Like 2 days at the most. Because it's sunup when they meet, and then it's night later. So it could very well be the same day.
Yeah.
And he's already like, will you wait for me? And she's like, yeah, sure. I'll promise to wait for you until you're too old to get it up. And Viagra won't be invented for another 70 to 80 years after that. So, yeah, you're both going to die of old age before he's going to be technically old enough to marry you. So, yeah. It's a show. It's a show, Warren. Calm down. It's just a show. Anyway, after the Romeo and Juliet of Penzance, the Tarantula Brigade reappears with their noodle appendages to get to it and capture those pirates, you undaunted boys in blue. I've actually thought that the choreography for them was pretty good because they had some noodly appendages.
Yes,
they did some rubber limb stuff there.
Yeah, they had some great physical comedy,
especially the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his name.
Yeah,
just I'll call him Captain Tarantula. Sergeant Tarantula. Sergeant Tarantula McNoodle Arms.
Sergeant Rancho.
Sergeant Rancho. There we go. And so after the boys in blue bravely flee not towards the pirates, the pirates sail their ship on land.
I think that's an invention for this show.
I have no words.
Yeah.
How usually, like in history, when ships had to go on land and they had to like move the ship till they found another body of water, they pulled it with ropes. Like everybody freaking pulled the ship with ropes and they'd like cut down logs to roll it over. None of that happened in here. The ship was just sailing on the land.
And then getting caught in trees.
Because it's sailing on the land. Like... Okay. Anyway, after that, the pirates get off the ship, and they're trying to be stealthy before they go and get their revenge. And a bird squawks, and the pirate king growls, "Quiet, bird! We're going to sing before we attack, as is the way of the pirate." And as they're singing, they wake up. Well, they don't wake him up. The modern Major General is laying in bed and he's not able to sleep. And he thinks he hears a noise that sounds an awful lot like an entire chorus line of singers. He comes out to investigate. Oh, it must have been the breeze rustling through the trees. And then he proceeds to, like, wander his property in the middle of the night, as old people do, I guess. And the pirates are, like, stalking him, like, and I couldn't help but like think of a crocodile hunter scene from like and so it's watch as the fearsome pirates stalk the modern Major General through the garden. General thinks he's safe, but little does he know that the swashbuckling danger lurks around every corner. Those pirates are crafty predators. Crikey. So, after the boys in blue show up right as the pirates are like getting ready. No. First, it's the daughters. The daughters show up because they're like, "Father, why are you out in the middle of the night?" Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the pirates are there, and then the boys in blue show up, and the boys in blue are like, "Surrender, pirates!" And they're like, "No!" And there's a little bit of like an altercation there. And then it erupts into just bizarre shenanigans for like the next 20 minutes of... It reminded me, honestly, of the last scene in Blazing Saddles, where like they're just running around fighting in all these different venues. Because they're fighting in the garden, and they're rushing and chasing into the city, and they're fighting in the city. And then they crash a theater, and that's showing the HMS... Pinafore?
Yes.
So showing the HMS Pinafore, and it's more like WTF is the scene for, because it's just kind of nonsense. And then they're out in the street after leaving the theater, after crashing the theater, and the boys in blue tell them, "No, you must surrender. We invoke the authority of the Queen to arrest you." And the boys and the pirates just surrender. They start handing over their weapons. They're like, "Well, if it's in the name of the Queen," they're like, "Hey, I love Queen too." Not sure who this Victoria chick is, but we will surrender. And then, as the pirates are being taken away by the boys in blue, Ruth is like, "Don't take them away. They love the Queen, which makes them noblemen, I guess. They have fancy hats. Surely that counts for something. Now let's all get married." Yeah. So as they're taken away, they're like, "No, they're noblemen." And then the pirates are like, "Yes, we're noblemen." And then all of a sudden they have top hats, not top hats, bowler hats. That's what I think it was. They had bowler hats and umbrellas, and then they're acting all fancy. And then all the girls are like, "They're noblemen!" And then all of a sudden, the modern Major General is like, "Marry my daughters!"
This is 7 Brides for 7 Brothers with pirates.
And then they throw their nobleman hats off, and they just fly upwards into space like flying saucers, I guess looking for new pirates to turn into noblemen.
like some bizarre Frosty the Snowman scenario. Like the hat's gonna come down and land on a pirate and turn him into a nobleman.
Happy birthday!
Like, it ended so weird. This show was bizarre and off the wall and funny and overall delightful.
Mm-hmm.
But dear God, was this just daffy, man.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, this, I feel like this is what happens if Bugs Bunny wrote a musical that was only for humans, like not going to get any of the Looney Tunes acted out. He's like, it's going to be purely humans, but I'm going to make them do Looney Tunes shit.
Yeah.
Because it was so off the wall in so many places. And as we know, Looney Tunes are very fond of doing opera too.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially Bugs Bunny. So that, it was just a lot of WTF. But also a lot of like, OMG mixed in with the WTF, because it was like, OMG, that was amazing, and then WTF, what's this?
Yeah.
But, yeah. It was good. I don't know where it fits in on, like, the musicals that we've seen so far, like, on my list, because it's like a quantum anomaly. It's probably, like, popping all over the place. It's like, here, it's 1st, it's 4th, it's 8th, it's 12th, it's 9th, it's 6th. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Because that thing was freaking daffy. That's all I want to say more words, but I don't know how many of them won't be profanity. So I'm just going to say it's daffy. It's daffy, man.
I'm glad that you liked it though. Like
it was
that
good.
You enjoyed it because
it was good. It was fun seeing Kevin Kline. Because it was funny. You're like, Kevin Kline's in this, and I'm just like, and then I see him. I'm like, oh yeah, Kevin Kline. I love that guy.
And he was in the Broadway production of this.
That blew me away when you said that he got to start in theater.
Yeah,
because I've only ever known him as an actor, and so that just is one of those mind imploding things.
Then we had our Angela Lansbury. We had Mrs. Potts.
We had Mrs. Potts, and she used some of that bed knobs and broomstick magic to witch herself onto the dinghy.
Yes.
She really wanted to get in Fred's dinghy. I mean, right from the get-go. It was very important to her to be on that dinghy with Fred.
Well, anyway. This seems like a great segue. So, I'm...
Did I break you?
No, it's just I've been dreading this moment.
Uh-oh.
Because I have to tell you what the next show is.
What number are we on?
We're not on a Weber week.
Okay.
It's just, so there's a show that I want to get to, but before we get to it, I need to do this other one first. And it's one of my least favorite shows of all time. We're gonna be seeing Grease.
So are we gonna be watching the John Travolta Grease?
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing Grease.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Let me blow out my brains.
Tell me more, tell me more.
This show causes me pain. Do up, do up, do up.
Oh, that's all I know of Grease is the tell me more, tell me more.
Yeah, we'll be watching Grease next week. Yay!
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
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 Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on Twitter at ToneDeafMusical.
And if you think I'm wrong, tell me on Twitter.
Yeah, tell us on Twitter. We don't really have like a tag for trending because I haven't figured that out yet.
We're not popular yet.
We're not popular yet. I also have set up a Facebook, just a page. I haven't done a group because Facebook groups give me a little bit of social anxiety. But you can definitely check out our page. It's also at Tone Deaf Musical, or you can look it up by Tone Deaf, Theater Nerd's Guide for Their Musically Challenged Spouse. You can also find us on Patreon with Tone Deaf. And if you're able to get onto iTunes, please, please, please give us a review. And if you want to give us like 5 stars, just leave a thing saying, hey, we listened. That's fine. It's all due to these algorithms that iTunes has. That's
yeah, basically if you don't get a 5-star, then they don't try to promote you at all. So just, if we really appreciate any efforts that anybody takes to help us reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
So if you do get a chuckle out of our weekly shenanigans, please help us out, and we can reach more people, and then maybe have more free time to do more shows. And yeah. So
yeah.
Thank you all for listening week after week.
Oh, and if you're a Patreon donor, I'm editing it. It should be up soon, but there will be a bonus episode for our $10 patrons. And this episode will be a musical that I hadn't seen, called Paint Your Wagon, and Warren had seen it, so...
Yes, the roles have been reversed. I had seen something that Kay had not. Up is down, black is white, existence has become nothingness.
I was very tired when we recorded it, so it'll be a treat.
It was good, though.
It was fun. So anyway, that's it for this week. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
And this has been Tone Deaf.